All right, in today's video workout demonstration, we're going to be going through something that's called a cycle grind workout. And this can be an absolutely fantastic workout for any hiker who's looking to develop muscular endurance in their legs. Now, specifically what we're trying to do with this particular workout is develop something that's called local muscular endurance in our legs. And this is basically the ability of our muscles in our legs to produce force again and again and again and again and again without fatiguing out and absolutely cooking it. So this is super relevant for any hikers who do have extended ascents coming up, whether they've got a mountain climb or whether they've just got lots and lots of elevation. And this is particularly going to help reduce that fatigue and that burning and that shaking feeling as you're going up again and again and again. It also can be really relevant for people who've got lots of steps, again, in a sustained period where you're just producing force over and over and over. Now, traditionally, what most hikers will do to help develop this local muscular endurance in a training sense is doing things like loaded pack hill intervals and loaded stair intervals, in which you'll sort of load up a pack pretty heavy and go up and down a hill multiple times, and that'll do pretty much the same thing. Now, in all honesty, those options are probably in a perfect world better because it's very, very specific to your hiking. It's pretty much exactly what you're doing on the trail. However, there are some times when these workouts aren't appropriate for hikers. So for example, sometimes when people have foot issues or knee issues and doing that repetitive descents with a load on the back is going to aggravate things. Sometimes people might just not have access to hills or stairs and they just can't work through this workout. Some people might find those things the most boring things in the world. And some people just need something really, really convenient that they can do either at home or in a local gym to help develop this particular thing. So this workout kind of fits into any of those situations. So what you really need for this particular workout is access to a stationary bike. And specifically with a stationary bike, we want something that you can have a good change in resistance. So typically one of those spin bikes where you can just keep on changing the resistance and get something quite heavy. Now, the reason why we want this is number one, we're looking for constant tension on the legs, particularly the quadriceps. So when we're doing something else, it might be a rower or it might be some other bit of gym kit, you tend to not be able to focus the force on that particular area. It might not be quite as good. You also do need quite a bit of extra resistance, and sometimes in other bits of gym kit, it can be a little bit limited. Now you can do this on a stepper or something like that. You just have to load up your pack, but that's a bit of a different workout we're talking about. So essentially you want to find yourself a stationary bike that you can change resistance. You want to set yourself up on that, and then we're going to be working on that doing this particular workout. So now that's a bit of an intro, you kind of know what you're in for. Let's do a bit of a video demonstration and I'll talk you through exactly how this looks. Okay, so here we have the lovely Andrea demonstrating this particular workout. Now, as you can see, she is set up on a stationary bike here, and she's up in the gym at a local area. Now, the key to this particular workout and the most important thing you want to be thinking about is number one, we want to be thinking about choosing a pace where you're stuck between 30 and 40 RPM on the bike. So typically you want to be choosing a bike that has a screen that you can see the revolutions per minute, and you're sticking between 30 and 40 RPM. Now around that, you want to find a resistance and a load which will limit you to this particular pace and will give a really good burn through the legs. So essentially, if you feel like you can go quicker, you need to turn that resistance up heavier. And if you feel like you can go quicker again, you still need to turn that resistance up and keep on turning it up until you literally can't go any quicker than that 40 RPM. Now, as I said, your legs and specifically your quads should be burning pretty quickly. And the whole aim of the game in this particular workout is you're just going to work through that burn. You're going to get the legs used to that. You're going to get the legs happy to continue on and push through. And what this is going to do is to develop some very particular adaptations in the legs and in the muscles. So when you're actually on those hills and you're experiencing this sensation, the legs can be much more comfortable and they can deal with it much happier. So essentially, you're just going to be grinding away at this 30 to 40 RPM with a really, really heavy resistance. Now, there are a few different ways you can go about this in regards to progression and structuring your workouts. Now, typically what I'll get my clients to do and my hikers to do, because it's very, at first, it can be very uncomfortable, is start off with something like 4 or 5 minutes of this high resistance. So they'll be cycling for 4 to 5 minutes at 30 to 40 RPM, just burning away. Now, that's not much fun already, but they got to do it. So they'll work through this, then they'll have 2 minutes of just casual cycling. Turn that resistance down super light, and it's just recover and let the body feel a little bit better. After 2 minutes, they'll go back up, grind out for 5 minutes, and then go down to 2. And then depending on how long they have in their workouts, they might do this 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, or whatever it may be. And then essentially each week they do this, they want to sort of increase the time spent on the high resistance intervals. So they might do 5 minutes one week, 7 minutes the next week, 9 minutes the next week, 11 minutes the next week, and keep on building up with the ultimate aim of, in the end, in the final week before of your training, is essentially you want to be doing your whole workout. So whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever, non-stop at that high resistance and just work through it. Now, the beauty of this workout is it does improve very quickly. The first week you do it, you're going to hate it. It's going to suck. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be very bad. But the second week, it'll improve very quickly. And the second week, it'll feel much more comfortable. That's why we do need to have some pretty aggressive and big jumps in progression. Now, a few other things around this workout to particularly make this, I'm just not doing it so much here, but it's something good to think about, is when you're cycling at this intensity, you want to be able to breathe through your nose throughout. And you want to be going so slow at that 30, 40 RPM that your breathing, it's not taxed. It's not stressing out. It's not having a bad time. You're not huffing and puffing. It's purely just those legs burning out. And if you are huffing and puffing, that's a sign of 2 things. Either number 1, you have to increase the resistance more and slow yourself down because you're probably going too quick. Or number 2, if you're going super slow and you are still huffing and puffing, this is a signal that your aerobic capacity and your cardiovascular fitness in the aerobic energy zone needs work. And that's a really clear signal. So it's up to you on that front. So you have to think about that. Now, Andrew here, she's on a rest period now. She's just cruising along, taking it easy. She's turned it down, she's having a drink, and she'll get back to it as she goes. And she's just going to go about this. She does it for about 15 minutes. We're not going to be doing it the whole way here. So essentially, when we're talking about this workout, what we want to be fitting this in is this typically will fit into a hiker's last 4 to 6 weeks of preparation before they head off on a big trip. You don't really need it earlier unless you are doing regular hiking, say in season, and you might be just doing a working out a little bit differently. But if you're leading up to a big trip, it's about 4 to 6 weeks before you go, because this will improve very quickly. On top of that, make sure you do progress as you go. And then you can either break this up as a workout by itself, and you might do 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes of this by itself. Or if that sounds like a nightmare or it doesn't fit into your schedule so much, you can do this at the end of your strength workouts. So you might do 30 minutes or 5 minutes of strength and then 15 minutes of grinding away at the end. Can be a good option. There's a few different ways of going about there. But basically, this is a really good option for any hiker out there who is looking to improve their their local muscular endurance in their quadriceps for elevation hiking, and they may not be able to do typical hill or stair intervals for whatever reason. So highly recommend, if you think this might fit you, give it a crack. It won't be much fun, but it can be very effective, and I hope you enjoy it. So there you go, an absolutely fantastic muscular endurance workout for hikers. Now, if you're using this, as I said previously in the video, you can either use this as a session by itself in the week. You might tack this on at the end of one of your strength sessions or whatever you want to do. And then just using this in the last 4 to 6 weeks before your big hike, if you're training for one of those, or if you're just an in-season hiking, maybe do this once a week or every couple of weeks or whatever it may be. But either way, it can be a really fantastic inclusion in any hikers, backpackers, trekkers, through hikers or mountaineers preparation. Anyone that's climbing a hill is going to benefit, and it can be really good option. So if you do have any questions off that, feel free to reach out, drop a comment below, swing me a message, whatever it may be. But I hope you enjoy that workout, and I hope it helps you well on the trail.